till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happened
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. But you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
blinded, never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be, making emotion paintable answers. Tell me, is this what you made me? Every time you bring me close, and you're thickening the ghost of you, bleeding tired as you've been done. I'm done, I'm done.
am not going to speak. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company. I am Captain Sack, a.k.a. Heath, your Dire Bear GM. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you can tell that I am a bit deeper.
Walk into the light.
Walk into the light. That is because I have spent this weekend doing all sorts of fantastic things. Mainly getting very intimate with the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica as I ran the single shot adventure that we had 6 times, as well as I did a 1 shot at the Hamacon Minicon this weekend. So I was a bit busy. That being said, I want to thank everybody who is here with me tonight. Maddie, Jack, Steve, and Chief. We have everyone here. We love you guys. And before we jump into the game, I do want to go ahead and just say a few words. Today is a very sad day, but it's also a day of remembrance. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of the veterans who served out there today, including my own other half, Morgan. Thank you so much for putting your life out there for us. We appreciate you. On the other front, I was probably 8 or 9 when I came across my first comic book. And it was actually Captain America. And so that's where my love for Captain America came. Superman was my first foray into superheroes. So when I was growing up, I either wanted to be superhero or Superman or Captain America, depending on who it is. Comic books were a big staple of my life, as well as D&D, taking a lot of influence from my comic books that I read, went into the games that I wrote as a kid. Today, we see the passing of a very, very special man to comic books, and we want to honor and remember Stan Lee for all that he gave us, for all of the scapes, all of the characters that were created that we can all identify with, and for all of the great stories. To all of you out there who remember him, Excelsior. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into tonight's game of Foundations of Adelar. Last we left off, the party got fancy clothes and went to a party, which then promptly turned a bit ghastly as the king, Jordan Grimfist, celebrating his 350th birthday, toasted everyone the special goblet handed to him by his eldest son. He decided that he was not feeling well and retired, claiming that he is not as old or is not as young as he once was. Everything seemed off, but what we come to find out is that someone had poisoned the king, and while he is not dead, he is quite ill. Everyone at the party, which was a numerous amount of individuals, detained, questioning, including our own party members. At the head of this gigantic room, this feasting hall, sit the 3 children of King Jordan Grimfist. You are the guest of one of the magisters who looks nervously around. As a matter of fact, the Grand Magister. He is looking around nervously, his tail bobbing back and forth. Hyrcaneth looks at you all and says, "Well, this is decidedly not the way that I had seen this evening going. I apologize, and I'm sure that this will all pass over in a few. Just sit and enjoy, and he starts to get up and move to the front of the room. At this time, I would like for everyone who would like to listen for rumors around the room to try to see what information they can glean. Please give me perception checks.
Yeah.
My ear holes are open.
Awesome.
Hold on a sec.
Chief, as usual.
The fuck?
All right.
12. 24. God damn it.
Callista, you are nervous as usual. You are.
I'm
now trapped in
probably
a room.
drunk Let's be honest.
You were so nervous
fair.
that you started drinking, and you didn't put the brakes on. So you're not completely blottoed, but you are definitely feeling good.
Oh, I've been drinking since I got there.
Absolutely. Gillet, life is treating you kind. Unfortunately, though, you're too taken with the poor drunken Callista to really notice what's going on. And Yenfear, you're preening and taking care of your costume. And while you hear people complaining about being locked in there, you don't really catch anything.
This has happened before. I'll be fine.
Chief, you catch the name of the 3 kids, or the 3 children, offhanded. You learn the eldest, his name is Balnir, Balnir, Balnir. And then the daughter's name is Jadar, and the youngest son, who is Eobard. There is some unrest amongst the people. You seem to catch a rumor that perhaps maybe it was Balnir finally tired of living in his father's shadow and ready to usurp the throne. However, this seems to contradict his nature of being a bit slow on the uptake. Not necessarily stupid, but more of a Prince Valium circa.
Simple.
Yeah, kind of simple. Jadar is the only daughter, and should her brother pass, she would, of course, become the the queen. She would be the first queen in over 2,000 years if she ascended to the throne, that is. Someone says that maybe it's possibly one of them. Someone says that's impossible. She loves Balnir, and she never seems to have wanted the throne. She sees to seek no interest in it. And then the one that strikes you the most is all of the talk of Eobard, the youngest. He is slick, personable, friendly, oozing with charm and charisma, which is unusual for the Grimfist family. He's often seen prowling around with his older brother, and they seem to be in good company with one another. But there is some people who believe that is more of a manipulator than anything else.
Okay.
The guards pass through the crowd. You are there for a few hours when finally they make their way to you. A tabaxi, escorted by the High Magister, Hukaneth, stops, and he says, I understand that you are in the company of the High Magister Hukaneth. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct.
When I point to you, please state your name. And you see he's got a quill and a piece of parchment in his hand, and he points to Arneth.
Arneth?
Do you have a surname?
No, not really.
Not really.
He writes down Arneth. You see him writing down some description. He points to Gillet. Your name?
Gillet.
Do you also have no surname?
No.
Half orc.
Gillet half-orc at your
Middle name The.
Gillet T half-orc.
Mhm.
All right, so he kind of looks between the two of you for a moment and then shakes his head. He points at Yenfear. And you?
Yinfir Tendra.
And you see him write down. He stops for a second as the quill is on the paper. He pulls it up. He looks at you. Are you really? He points the quill at Callista and says, your name?
Did Did this motherfucker almost out himself? Okay.
Callista Valor, at your service.
He writes down your name as best he can.
I'm just gonna lean over. Are you okay? Do you need some water?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yep,
Good.
I'm good.
Okay. I put some water in front of her anyway.
She's not gonna touch it. She's reaching for the flagon of wine and pouring herself another glass.
That's it. Given to those deeper desires. Good Gathar would be proud of you.
I'm
She'll be
sure
drunk
he
enough
would.
That soon she won't know what she's drinking. So
You're just gonna bide your time.
Like I said, as you can tell, my voice isn't normal and I'm a little cold. So if you see me put my hood up, it's not for dramatic effect. It's because my ears are cold.
you're
Totally for dramatic effect.
You know what? No, it's totally. You need a blanket, sir, and
I
a
do.
toque.
I need some
Gosh.
hot tea and some soup or something, as opposed to the Reuben that I had for lunch, for supper.
Delicious.
That's good. All right, so he looks at you all and he says, "Have you left the room at all since your arrival here at the party?"
Had no need to.
No.
No, sir.
He kind of looks at you all for a moment. Have any of you made your way to the table where the king and the heir to the throne would sit?
No.
No.
We're adventurers. Why would we?
It is standard questioning for everyone in the room. A simple yes or no.
No.
Nope.
Fine. And then he says, "Are any of you in possession of any illicit goods that you should not have on your person?"
No.
What does that mean?
Define illicit.
He looks at you for a second in complete disbelief, like you don't know what that means. Anything that you should not have, such as maybe poisons or mind-altering substances?
No.
Okay. There may be more questions on
I
an
just
individual-
I pat Callista's leg under the table like a little bit, like just don't say anything at all.
There may be more questions for you all later. Please stay here. Not that you have any choice to leave.
Nobody would admit to
Of
having
course.
poisons if they had it.
Callista, I think your
I
time to
wouldn't.
talk is over.
We understand, but perhaps the question would be so upfront that it would be jarring to their senses and they would give up their ghost before even knowing what they had done. You surprise them with questions that are easy to answer, yes or no. You get them into a false sense of just answering quickly, and the next thing you know, you hit them with questions that they were not expecting, and then the next thing you know, they admit to it.
Has that ever
True.
worked?
Not so far, but when it does, we will be justified in this line of questioning, won't we?
It works
Those
really
will.
well on drunk people.
You were not expecting it, were you? So I am partway right.
I'm gonna
Thank
be
you.
honest, I was struck more by the stupidity of the question than anything else.
Callista,
I don't know. I'm going to
Be
give
polite.
it. That's
I am going to forgive your insolence because you are quite intoxicated.
I'm so sorry about her. She's impossible.
Callista, please drink some water.
Perhaps you should
It's
cut
really
that
good
off.
for you.
No.
Hi, Magister. Thank you for your time. And he starts to walk away.
Gillet, tell her to drink water. She'll listen.
Control your woman.
Whoa!
well, that escalated quickly.
Whoa. She's a strong,
Tell her.
independent woman. She owns herself. She's a strong, independent tiefling.
Yeah.
She don't need no man. But
But if she wants the man, she can get a man, okay?
Look, just because I don't need a man does not mean that I probably don't need assistance when making terrible life decisions.
She needs a babysitter, is what she needs.
she needs a caretaker.
Yeah. Honestly.
Literally a wet nurse.
Mm.
Literally. All right. He moves down the table to the next people in line. You hear the sound of some of the similar and same questions coming from his mouth.
That's a stupid set of
The high-
questions.
The High Magister Hookeneth just looks at you apologetically, saying, "I am so sorry for the inconvenience. We will try to get you from here as quickly as possible."
Honestly, it could be worse. We could already be arrested, so.
This is very true. Do they have reason to arrest you? And you see him kind of back up with his hands. The
No.
reason that they should arrest you? Do I need to worry?
No. Not in this case.
Have you done anything that should be seen as untoward?
Not here.
Oh, plenty of things. Just not in this instance.
I'm going
And not
to
in this town.
I'm going to keep this all off of the record, and I'm going to say that the conversation never happened.
You're talking to adventurers. You think we do everything by the book?
Really.
I've never thought about it, honestly.
Well,
I really have no idea what goes into your life. I've never really thought about it.
And you know what? It's probably best that you keep it that way.
No, now I'm interested. Tell me more.
Mm.
Have you
well,
fought any dragons?
not yet. Have
Technically,
we?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Technically, yes.
Well, we
Wasn't the size you might expect, but we did.
no, yeah.
Well,
It was.
Oh yeah, I incinerated
Um,
it.
Mm-hmm. Gelatinous cubes, a couple goblins here and there.
What? No. Yes. Jello molds. Great. What? Tell me more.
while this is happening, Arnath is going to try to steal whatever Callista is drinking away from her and the source that she is getting it from.
She has
Okay.
a very firm grip on the flagon and her cup.
Give me a
Just
sleight
so-
of hand.
Just
and
so we're
give me-
clear.
Hey, Gillett, work your magic.
All right.
Well, I'm
24,
guessing it's
holy
the
crap.
23. No, it's the 23 because that was what was rolled first.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't read
My
it.
my reaction is still the same. I think the only way I beat this is if I nat 20. What am I rolling against this? Perception?
Still nat
Insight. Perception sounds good. No, let's do.
Please don't nat 20.
Nah, bitch.
Four. She's annihilated, is what she is.
You're so drunk. You reach for the glass. She tries to pull it back away from you. You're like, I'm going to refill it for you. Okay. She hands it to
She
you.
gets just totally distracted. We hand her a glass of water.
Mm-hmm. Replacing it with water.
This wine tastes weird.
I'm gonna sip it, realize it's water, and then just set the glass back on the table and look around for another source of alcohol.
Oh my gosh. Prune juice.
You're telling
Oh,
me
no,
you
that
could
is the worst.
infinitely supply me
Oh.
with wine or alcohol, and you're gonna give me prune juice.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that's the worst thing you could.
That's the
probably-
worst replacement.
I'm
You're
gonna be
gonna have-
honest, I don't
You're
even know what that
responsible
tastes
for whatever
like.
happens after, okay?
It's
I
not
don't
that
even know what that tastes
it's-
like.
It's like
not the-
molasses kind of taste.
It's not the taste that would really kill you. It's the effect
Yeah, it's
of the prune juice.
it's
Mm-hmm.
With all the alcohol, it's gonna make me throw up, isn't it?
No.
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 Not that way.
throw up.
Oh,
out
great.
your ass,
Even
baby.
better.
When you
Even
wanna
better.
loosen your bowels up. That's what
Yeah.
you have to go for.
Yeah, it's a laxative. So
Yeah.
this is the worst. Actually, you're not helping, Gillett. You're just giving yourself more work later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gillett's handing it to her, so she's not gonna say no.
This is true.
Enjoy your juice.
I am your DM.
Don't kill us, please.
So-
spooky.
Or do, but I want to die like in a blaze of glory. I don't want to die like
I want to die.
Rollin almost
You're
died
gone.
by goat. I can't believe this is my end.
It's something stupid like you didn't check the date on the salmon.
Or like drop something on the ground and like crack the back of my head open on the table and die, you know?
That vertebrae that just
Yep.
slip and fall in the tub.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
All right. And I apologize if your family member was lost from slipping and falling in the tub. I shouldn't make light of that. But still, would be a shitty way to go. All right. So, with that being said, a few more hours pass, and people are starting to get restless. High Magister Hookeneth, his initial embarrassment has now gone. He stands and starts to pace in place. The nervous twitch of his tail from the situation has been replaced by an agitated twitch, and he finally stomps over to one of the guards, pointing at you all, and then pointing at himself, pointing at the door. The guards and the one tabaxi that you saw earlier, not tabaxi, Kamat. I keep calling him tabaxi. Kamat. The one Kamat you saw earlier, who walks over to you all, this time with a small cadre of guards. Magister Hookeneth hopping behind them, looking a little less agitated and a little more excited. As the guards approach and the Kamat that you had been talking to earlier walks up to you and smiles. The High Magister, who of course is in high esteem of the king, has informed us that you are perhaps people of no small skill who might be able to help us with the situation that we find ourselves in. Would you be willing to help the king and his court?
I would.
She's gonna reach out and grab Gillet's shirt front and just pull him down and be like, I'm too drunk for that.
We tried to get you to drink water.
I'm too drunk for this.
She can nap.
You know, that brings to question. I'm going to have to do the research on this. There is Destroy Water spell. Most creatures are made up mostly of water. I have to look and see how that works.
Oh, no.
Ruh-roh.
A lesser restoration spell will help cure Callista of her current plight.
All right, since we now are apparently on the job, what can I do?
Does
Do you
your
have
friend
restoration?
need assistance?
I do.
Well, get to it. Cure our poor drunken friend.
Do your job.
Do your job, healer.
I will use lesser restoration on Callista.
All right.
He's feeling good.
Go ahead and give me a constitution, just constitution check. Just straight con check.
Me?
Yep. Okay, cool. So yeah, the effects unfortunately seem to have worn off, at least most of the way. You're at about 90% capacity now instead of
20.
Instead of 10%.
Yeah.
Mild buzz.
Where? Arneth, after this, you and I need to go drinking. You just need to keep doing that to me so I can just keep drinking.
Her poor body.
Jesus, do you know what that would do to you?
Doesn't care.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You could literally win some money, though, drinking somebody under the table.
Honestly, that's true.
It'd be pretty funny.
Lesser restoration.
I could drink a dwarf under the table doing that.
That's cheating, though. I prefer to win my drinking money, honestly.
Only if you get caught.
That's fair.
All right. With you all,
Note to self: ask Infir to a drinking contest at every opportunity.
No. Okay.
You all, and the Kamat asks you to follow him.
Alrighty then.
All right.
He
I'm
leads you-
following.
He leads you into a small room. an antechamber off of the main hall, usually used for like some of the storage for some of the napkins and things like that. It's a small room. He informs you that they are currently investigating the 3 royal heirs. That after making their way around the room, they've come to the realization that the only people close enough to commit something like this would have either been the waitstaff or the family. The waitstaff have all been submitted to the zone of truth, and they have all spoken true words. The family would be a faux pas to cast a zone of truth on them because of their rank and status. They are to be trusted.
Well, that's stupid.
He admits, I am far too close to this to offer my particular judgment, as is the High Magister who. Therefore, we have asked you to step in as our liaisons with the family. They await your questioning in their father's chamber, where he is currently resting.
Okay.
Do this for us, and we will owe you a debt of gratitude. I'm sure the king will be happy to pay for your services. Yes?
Well, I mean, money's money.
Pay us how much?
That is yet to be seen should the king survive. I'm sure that he would treat you kindly. Were he to be dead and you find that the culprit is one of the royal family, then I'm sure that while it may be handsome, it may not be as much. So, your priorities are to either identify what is slowly killing the king, or find the culprit who may have the antidote. I will leave that choice up to you. Be careful of what you do and how you say things. None of you are dwarves, and they carry long grudges. They are slow to forgive any slight. Do we understand one another?
I believe so.
Excellent. Follow me, please. And he leaves walking towards... he leaves out another door from the antechamber and leads you through a long hallway. Up a winding staircase, you find yourself rising up above. You come to what you assume is now the 3rd floor, having passed one door up to the 3rd. The door opens up into a large room. It's like walking into a penthouse, but like at the same time a loft apartment. This room is just filled with furniture. At the end of the room is one opulent bed. Laying upon it, looking smaller than what he did at dinner, is the king laid low, resting, his breath coming in ragged, shallow draws. Around the bed sits Balnir, clearly the son of the king, his countenance appearing almost like that of his father, but a bit younger. His daughter, Jedar, she would probably appear more like her mother. She has long sideburns that come down here, and her hair is shocks of like rose gold almost color. Her eyes are green. Her nose is a bit broad, but her green eyes are not to be. She's quite pretty, even for being a dwarf.
Even for a dwarf.
Even for a dwarf. A dwarf in this kingdom. Eobard looks the most different. While his father and brother have brown, chestnut brown hair. He has black hair. It's jet black. His eyes are dark gray. He looks like a storm ready to pounce. And while his brother and father are stocky of build, he is more slight. He seems to be more lithe than they are.
He's a mailman's baby.
What did
Something
the what did the mother look like?
There are a few pictures, especially in this room. There's a portrait of the king, much younger, with a beautiful dwarven woman. Her hair is piled on top, and it has that same rose gold color that her daughter has. Her eyes are blue, not green, and you see that she has of an ample build, curvaceous,
Mm-hmm.
and her nose is not broad. You can tell that their daughter gets the nose from dad. She is quite the catch, quite a beauty. She actually stands taller in the picture than the king.
Okay.
Giving you the impression that possibly some human in her background, somewhere down the line. Balner sits on one side of his father's bed, holding his father's hand, looking frail in his own massive, calloused hands. His sister is on the other side, sitting on a stool, her skirt tucked under her legs. She holds her father's other hand, her forehead down, touching his fingertips. You can see, every once in a while, something glistening off her face. Eobard stands away from, leaning against one of the many posts and pillars that hold up the ceiling in this room. His mouth is drawn into a tight line. His hands are shoved into the leather breeches of his pants. Shoved into the pockets of his leather breeches. Man, that sentence made no sense. Shoved into the pockets of his leather breeches. Sorry.
You're doing great.
As you enter the room with the Kamat, who is yet to reveal his identity, but High Magister Hookeneth on your right, Eobard pushes off quickly, stands crossing his arms, looking at you menacingly. What are they doing here? Balner stands, placing his father's hand gently on his chest, on the father's chest. He reaches over and puts a hand on Jadar's shoulder, patting her. As she looks up, you can see now clearly that she's been crying. She takes her father's other hand and crosses it over his chest. Balner says, I've asked them here on behalf of those who would watch over our kingdom, the lawmakers, the peacekeepers. I feel that our own house is close to this, and an outside perspective would be appreciated. And he nods at you. Jadar demurs, dabbing at her face, and she offers a hand as she makes her way. The gown that she wears sweeps the ground, and as she moves closer, she offers her hand to you. I'd like to thank you for coming and helping. We'll submit ourselves to your question. Feel free to ask whatever you have. She then takes a seat, a plush, overstuffed chair, once again tucking her skirt as she sits. Puts her hands in her laps. Eobard takes his position against the pillar again, crossing his arms. And Balner stands in the room, at a parade rest, his feet apart, his hands behind his back. He looks at you and says, we are all open to your questions. Ask as you will. We'll answer.
I'm going to lean over to Callista and kind of whisper, should we question them separately? Or should we keep them together?
keep them together. It'll be interesting to see who tries to answer what questions. By the way, this isn't going to be pretty.
I'm already worried.
Yep.
I'm not really good at interrogating. I'm usually the one being interrogated, so I'll just leave it up to you guys, and if you need me, I'll be over here.
I've never done this before.
I apologize. Sorry. I have questions I want to ask. I'm just quickly replying to something for homework that has to go in tomorrow.
So we're basically like, so which one of you poisoned your father?
That works every time.
You'll have to forgive the indelicateness of the question that I am about to ask. But did your father have a wandering eye? As it were?
They kind of look at each other for a second, and then you hear kind of Balnir and Jadar chuckle, and Eobard sits across the pillar with his arms crossed. Are you inferring to the fact that I look a bit different?
She actually has to swallow back the sarcastic reply. I'm just trying to gather as much information as I can to assist you in finding out what has happened.
You're inferring that perhaps my father went off, sowed his royal oats, sired a bastard, and brought him back here.
If the shoe fits.
He leans off. He like pushes himself off of the pillar, stalks over to you slowly. He leans in close and goes, "Fucker, he did good." And then walks back. And
how tall is he?
Balnir and Jadar started laughing.
How tall is Eobard?
Oh, he's smaller than you. He's
okay. So he walked up. He's like chest height
4.
to me, and then stared up at me, trying to be menacing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely gives the implication that they all know that he's the bastard child.
Okay.
If the shoe fits.
They're all the older two are laughing, and he's kind of like, you can see a little bit of color at his cheeks, and his ears are glowing a little bit red. And they laugh, and then they finally kind of, sorry, it's a serious situation that we're in.
Oh,
I apologize. And Balnir speaks. I apologize. The levity. I mean, no disrespect, Father. And he looks back over his shoulder.
Sometimes you need to laugh, even in the face of something as serious as this.
And you watch as Jadar nods, and she dabs at her eyes again. You're right. Is there anything that can be done for him? Any of you apothecaries or know your way around medicine?
Not really. No.
They look at the one dressed in green browns. What do you know? Do you have healer's abilities?
Your mic's muted, Chief.
Yes, but I don't know if they'll be any good.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
What can happen? Oh shit! Nobody's
probably won't hurt to try.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Are you going to give it a medicine check?
I don't think I have medicine, but my medicine is not
you
good.
You crit all the time, though.
Good.
Aren't you the one with the healing?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I like to see you suffer. No, I'm just kidding. I just have a cat, like, in my lap. Okay.
I'll try the medicine.
I'll try to.
You definitely know that he is not.
That he's not what?
He's not dead.
Let me try. Well,
You also are aware of his non-expiredness.
good.
He still pushes on for at least now.
Huh.
You're all doing fantastic. I just want
Can
you to
I
know.
tell if it's like magical or if it is just straight up poison?
That would be a medicine check.
Okay.
Another one.
And another one.
And another.
Worse than before.
Not really sure if it's natural. You don't know enough about the current situation. You see his condition, but without actually having like a sample of the poison or anything else like that. Time to investigate what it is.
If somebody used detect magic, would you be able to see any traces of anything? If it was a magical thing?
Not really. Detect magic is ongoing and constant and persistent or currently active magic.
Okay.
Would we perhaps instead be able to make sure that the 3 siblings are who they say they are?
All right. Would you like to give me like maybe an insight check on any of them? And tell me what exactly it is that you're looking.
I mean, since I don't have the detect magic, I would just suggest perhaps if
like
there's
you
some
detect
sort of
magic
disguise
thing.
going on, there'd be a magic aura.
Okay.
This is true.
Well, I have. Hold on. I have dispel magic. I don't have. Wow.
Yeah,
Fuck
let's not
me.
do that again.
Body.
Does
Magic be
Calista
gone!
have it?
I do
Huh?
have detect magic.
Yeah. You could do that if you wanted to do that.
If you were so inclined.
If you were so inclined, you could do that for us as a friend and party member.
As a mostly sober
As a-
friend.
As a mostly
Fellow
sober
comrade.
friend. Yeah.
Chief, do you have gentle repose by any chance?
No. I don't even know what that is.
Fuck.
If they are dead, gentle repose puts them into kind of a stasis where they don't rot or continue to die anymore. It's not spare the dying where it stabilizes, makes them not expire as quickly. Basically, is really what it does.
It's the Snow White coffin effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping
have to look
princess
into
coffin
that.
effect.
Hey, all right. Who's kissing the king?
This
Look at
kitty
you.
is.
Kitty.
She's so sweet. Okay.
Okay, I will sit and I will do detect magic.
Eobard pushes off of the pillar and walks over to Balnir. Do you have any idea what she's doing? Balnir shakes his head and Jadar goes, "Ooh, I believe she's casting a spell. I don't know why my accent changed." Please bear
It's a
with
trying time, okay?
that. His brain is not really functioning as best as it could. I believe she's casting a spell. And sure enough, 10 minutes wait, they are all anticipating the outcome of your spell casting. When you are finished with your spell, you cast your eyes upon them. Certain items on them do glow, but they themselves do not.
Okay, and how many items are there and what do they glow with?
You see that Balnir's sash around him is glowing, and it is transmutation magic. I had to think about what that is. What it's in there. Actually, I need to
Fascinating.
look at something real quick because I may have. Bye. we're waiting for me to look this up, don't forget, guys, if you really want a great new campaign setting, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is releasing soon. I suggest you get yourself a copy. I played it a lot this weekend. It was fantastic. You can be a Loxodon, which is a giant elephant person, and they're kind of cool. You can be
Well,
a bunch of different goblins. They modified that. You can be a centaur. They added the centaur, the minotaur.
Well, Chief is like,
Say that again? What?
wait, I could be a centaur?
Or a minotaur.
I gotta
Or a
go.
minotaur? I gotta go.
Why are you playing this game? Why are you playing that? As it was told by a friend of mine, I'm looking at you. There'll be other campaigns.
Yes, that was something I told you.
Yes, I know. Yeah, transmutation.
Okay.
He also has a ring that has abjuration magic on it.
Hmm.
And he has a necklace that has just simply enchantment magic on it. Or specifically the chain that you can.
Okay, her.
Her. She has a circlet that's holding her hair in place, and it has abjuration magic on it.
Hmm.
She has a ring that has evocation magic. And another ring that has enchantment magic.
Okay. And the youngest son?
His boots are transmutation. He has the leather vest that he's wearing is enchantment magic. And almost you almost did not see it. But looking at the belt that he's wearing, the buckle glows with enchantment magic as well.
What would my circlet glow with?
Transmutation.
I am going to ask all three of them to remove.
Disrobe.
I'm going to
get naked now.
All right, dwarves.
I'm
get
going
naked.
Points my
I'm going
gun.
to ask the eldest to remove his sash. Actually, she's not removing anything. The oldest to remove his sash, and the youngest to remove his boots.
Okay. He looks at you for a second. All right. And you watch as he takes the sash off. And as he does, he doesn't really change. He looks the same, but you notice it seems as though he doesn't fill the shirt out quite as nicely as he did.
Big titty magic. I like it.
No. Specifically around the arms. As Eobard takes the boots off, he doesn't change at all. He just kind of plops, and you watch as he flexes his toe.
Keep going. Where are you going? Oof.
When he takes the boots, he has them in his hand. He drops them. When they hit the ground, they make almost.
They make sorry. What?
They make almost no sound. They just kind of.
Sneaky boots.
Sneaky boots. Suspicious, sir.
I mean, let's face it. I'd probably use those if I had the chance, and that's just.
But
Just-
you don't wear shoes.
That's a lie. That is a
That's a
lie.
lie.
There is a gnome.
Me, however, would use them for
Lost
making
him
sandwiches
because of your lies.
in the middle of the night.
But it was
He wakes up and
funny.
he went, no shoes.
Okay.
Sandals.
I don't know.
Jesus cruisers.
I kind of want to ask them what they think. If they had to suppose why one of them would harm their father, who
Say
they
that again.
pin it on. I kind of want to ask, like, if they could each suppose who would want to harm their father out of the three of them.
Before we do that,
Who would it be and why?
terrible line of questioning.
Listen,
I feel like that's
listen, Detective
down
Gillett. Oh no.
Does the
that's
king glow with anything?
What's that?
Does the king have anything about him that glows?
No.
Okay.
Is there any other items in the room that glow with magic?
Oh, yeah.
Everything glitters.
Let me narrow this down. Is
Lucky
there
would be
anything that
crying.
is glowing with something that would emit necrotic damage? Which I know sounds like a really weird question, but
No. I know exactly where you're going.
okay.
because Stuff is necrotic. Necrotic damage is most likely going to be something that would have this kind of an effect, where it's not dead, but it's not alive. So yeah, I get where you're going with that. Getting over the king's stuff. No, actually, nothing he has would blow with that, and nothing in the room. There's enchantment magic, specifically the portrait of the and the queen seems to have some sort of enchantment magic on it.
Which is a longevity spell.
That or something else.
The queen is trapped in the painting.
Oh God!
We gotta say her name 3 times to get her out.
You just hear
Wow.
like this tiny scream.
Wait, I need to write some notes. Hang on a second. It's like, hello, Dorian Gray. There are a few items. There's specifically a mirror that has some sort of enchantment on it, enchantment magic. The king doesn't keep his weapons in here, nor his armor. This is like his regular clothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else in here that seems to have any sort of. I mean, there's a lot of other things that seem to glow, but nothing in here is necrotic.
Prince Eobard, your boots, they're awfully quiet.
Yes, they are.
What
I had
could
them
you-
made that way.
What could you possibly need for boots that would muffle your sound?
Sneaking in and out of the castle, of course.
What are you doing that requires you to sneak in and out of a castle?
Did we not just go over this with his dad?
I mean, really.
Because, as you can say, I am not easily missed. I sort of stand out. If when we're going to sneak in and out, what better way to do it? That would be quiet.
But you're a prince, why don't you just walk out of the castle?
Because if father knew that I was out browsing around, getting drunk and following in his very kingly footsteps, he'd not like it all the time. It's better sometimes to be not seen as you leave a particular area. Or at least heard.
Who is your mother?
I'd tell you to ask the old man. I don't remember.
She's gonna turn her gaze to the older two.
He kind of looks past you as he says this, like he's looking off in the distance.
Can I insight check that?
You may. You're not real familiar with dwarves. Of someone who's trying to hide something, and he is definitely not telling you the truth. He's guarding the truth.
Prince Eobard, how do I put this delicately?
Definitely not a dwarf.
What's the age difference between these three?
You're not sure because they don't. Dwarves with their weird aging, it's kind of hard to tell, but it still looks like he is quite young compared to the other two. Like his beard is not real thick and filled in. As a matter of fact, it's still like almost stubble along the side and just starting to thicken out around the goatee area. Like Steve. Eobard. Steve is Eobard.
There we
Today
go.
and today only.
Your Majesty, I must admit that I'm not entirely knowledgeable on dwarves and their philanthropic adventures. But I do know when somebody is lying to me.
Certainly.
So, you can either tell me the truth, or I have two very large half-orcs.
And before my boyfriend's gonna kick your ass.
I have two very large half-orcs who I have yet to see give in to their primal urges, and I don't know if you want to see that, but I've seen it in person.
God.
It's very ferocious.
I'm trying not to look around aimlessly, like,
Who is she
He's like
talking
looking
about?
at Arnett and Arnett and they're both like,
Oh, she means us. Yeah.
just back there going,
I'm like, oh my fucking god, who let her talk?
You guys.
I don't
Why
know,
did we
man.
let her
but-
do this?
intimidation check, please.
You
Oh,
got it.
no.
Do I get advantage because I have said two half-orcs behind me?
No.
No.
Okay.
They look like puppies.
I still rolled a
You're talking
16.
about the two most timid-looking half-orcs ever. They were always picked last for the half-orc sports.
Uh,
I still rolled a
Professional
16.
bleeding.
RF wasn't picked at all.
I don't
He was
want
too
Wolf
busy
Boy. You
playing with
take Wolf
puppies.
Boy. Dude, I don't want Wolf Boy. Look, the teams are even right now. He doesn't have to play.
Just let him go play with his brothers.
And that's how we got the picture of Arneth running down them.
I love that pic so
Mhm.
much. Oh, it's so good.
Maybe one day
Good
I'll
stuff.
finish it.
You
guys
won't,
haven't,
but it's
you
okay.
go on our Discord. You can see our art channel where
Yes.
our beautiful artists, both Jack and Chief, as well as Maddie, post a lot of their artwork up, and they are all
Mhm.
fantastic. You guys should check it out, especially Maddie's cosplay. Hire her. Let her
Hell
make
yeah.
your costume.
Hell
She does
yeah.
great- She does great work. I would hire her, but I can't afford her, and I can't pay her for all the work she does for me now. And I feel
Mhm.
bad about it. So, with that being said, he looks at you and he says, "It would be you who bring up this. Doesn't leave this room. Do you understand?
Of course.
My mother is one of the houses. They rose to power where they are. Her name is Opal Redling. From behind you, there is a... Oh. As Magister Hookeneth and the other Kamat look at each other.
Surprise.
So
Eobard points at Hookeneth and says, "You'll be stripped of all you have. Thrown into the street if that gets out." Balner says, "I'll back my brother."
So just so I'm aware, this man's mother is of one of the more recent upcoming houses. Like, this is new nobility. How new is your mother's nobility?
He just kind of chuckles and he says, "Are you trying to get my age?" You could ask.
your age is not what I'm asking for. I'm asking how recent her nobility is.
They rose to power in the last about 60 years or so.
How old are you now? Now she wants. There is a reason why she's asking these questions in this order.
It would just so happen that I'm roughly around 60 years old now.
Hmm. And how did your father meet your mother? I'm sure that's a story she would tell you many a time.
He goes, "You mean my father, or do you mean the bastard that I grew up with?"
No, I mean your father.
The king had a fancy for her. She was married. He didn't care. He was the king. Promised her all sorts. She won the lottery. A night in the sack with my father, the king. And the next thing you know, her husband and her had an influx of business. They did. Particular mine shafts that were rich with ore opened up to their names. Now here they are, doing quite well.
Amazing how that works. And
so,
when was the last time you saw your mother?
Yeah, she was there this evening. I saw her.
Magister? Would you mind,
Yes.
please?
Yes, how may I help you?
Go retrieve Opal Redling.
What does this have to do with finding out who poisoned my father?
It has everything to do with finding out who poisoned your father.
Right now, it seems like you're just airing, or trying to. You know nothing, elf, of the way of dwarves and the way that things. You think that this was underhanded and that perhaps my mother strives to see me take ascension where there shouldn't be. You think that there be other targets like my brother and my sister, and that she's behind it all to watch me see.
Oh, but you see, I don't think you're that stupid. You wouldn't kill all three of them in one go.
No.
This is something that would take years of careful planning and years of careful manipulation. Perhaps you turn the two of them against each other. After your oldest brother has ascended to the throne, and you start putting whispers in your sister's ear. And eventually they just kill each other, leaving you the sole successor with no blood, figuratively or literally, on your hands.
Balner steps forward. You claim to be saying that my brother wish me ill. He has no claim, nor does he want the throne. Eobard goes, that's the truth. I've no desire for it.
But it's not true that he has no claim.
I have no desire for it. And that's where you're wrong. I don't want to be tied down to a throne, having to do the responsibilities that this one has. Bonner kind of nods for a second and goes, oh, wait, what? And then you see, that's why I've got boots to slip out. How else do you get around responsibilities that you may have, other than sliding out of the window, quiet as a mouse? Why would I want that? My life's a lot freer, being who I am, a prince, overlooked. I don't care for those things. I've got my own machinations, my own ways of making. Maybe you should look to my sister. Perhaps she's already started putting plans in place to off my father, blame my brother. And she stands up quickly, the chair toppling over. I've never heard such a thing in my life. You ought to be ashamed to say such disparagements against me. He holds up his hand. Sister dear, I meant no harm. I love you, always will, and I always have. I'm just throwing this out there for pot themes and ideas, since that's what it seems that we're doing.
I'm gonna lean towards Arnett. This is going so well. I feel like we're really reaching a breakthrough soon.
There's a clearing of throat behind you as Magister Hookeneth goes, am I still to retrieve Opal Reitling?
Is there any reason that Opal's husband may want this as part of further ascension through the ranks?
Eobard makes a lewd gesture and go, aye.
Okay.
And does your mother hold severe affection for the bastard who raised you?
And that's the thing that you have to remember. You haven't asked me that question, is whether or not my mother has any care for me. Why am I here and not with her? Oh, that's right. You didn't ask.
Well,
You can go fetch her now, Magister. And the Magister is, yes, my prince. And he starts to leave the room. While he's gone, is there anything else you'd like to ask?
Well, he seems to think that he's dissuaded me from my line of thinking, and all he's done is just really kind of make me believe that this is exactly what's happened.
So, tell us more about the bastard that raised you, or whatever.
He throws his hands in the air. Well, since you seem to be under suspicion that I'm... Fine, I'll tell you all about my bastard who raised me. He wasn't cruel, he wasn't kind. He... who I belong to, and what sired me, what seed wrought me. He likes the king, and he likes him even more now that money and land and power. Why would he want him dead? He's a fattened hog, and he knows a continuous tree that will continue to ripen, grow fruit, and bear it. Seems counterintuitive to me. Oh, that's right. I am the bastard child who's angry at everyone. So I'll kill him, edgy in my black outfits.
All right. You're not the only bastard in the room, so relax.
What do you know of fancy
Put
elf?
the knife hands up. What's that?
What do you know of being a bastard there, you fancy elf?
Oh,
Funny story.
Funny story, we're all actually adventurers.
none of us really have full families.
Right,
I
none
mean,
of you really have.
we're like
Arnath is the closest thing, and it wasn't that they hated each other; they just kind of lived one on the plains and one in the forest.
basically. It's like, no, well, here's
Actually,
the
I
thing.
guess Callista, technically, her family, you grew up with your family, so
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Grew up with a family and then got exiled for asking too many fucking questions.
Stop being smart. Get out of here.
Pharisee. I always blame Pharisee for everything.
Isn't Gillett the one who has like the best home set up? You just got bored and left.
I actually
just
think,
got
yeah,
bored. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Gillett was just like, I just wanted to walk around. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Mom gave me a blanket. Dad gave me a hug.
Sent me off on my way. Found myself at a
Send
monastery.
us letters, son.
Every once in a while, I write letters. They keep saying, you need money, hon. It's okay. Don't hesitate to ask if you need it.
I mean, I learned to haggle somewhere, so
Oh
My throat.
my
Oh,
god.
I'm dead.
Good job, Steve. You killed the DM.
Ow. Oh. God, I love you guys.
Totally Twitch ended. Did we get reported?
Did we?
It says live. The Twitch machine got unplugged. Try again.
Uh-oh.
We're still
Maybe.
live on my end.
I still see it.
It's just me. It was just funny.
That's
I was gonna say, no, we're
Hilarious
still live on
timing.
my end, I swear.
hilarious timing. Oh,
But
we
because
didn't.
the Twitch machine got unplugged, try again later. So I'm like, oh,
Did we change the title, by the way?
no, we haven't changed
No.
the title. Like the
No,
last
we
couple
haven't
of
done
days.
shit. Okay, it's fine.
No. So we're
Um,
awesome. We're rocking it 1,000%.
It's all good. It's all good. Is it a murder mystery? Kind of, just not Tane's murder mystery.
Technically, it is a murder mystery. But yeah, it's
I mean,
To
Yeah.
answer your question about what I know about being a bastard, to put it politely,
I am one.
I am one motherfucker, and
That was polite.
my mother was a working woman, and she usually worked at night. Never knew my father. I hear he's a noble. So
She in a special industry.
yes,
Caters to being on your back quite a bit.
to put it bluntly.
At this, Ballner says, Eobard, watch your tone. They are here as guests.
it's fine. They're bonding.
Yes, definitely not thinking about framing him no matter what happens now or anything. Like,
Oh man.
how dare he disrespect my mother?
Wow.
Okay.
A very tense and awkward at the same time. 10 minutes passes. Magister Heckeneth returns. He leans to the other Kamat and says, for the first time, the name that you actually... He calls him Julian. I believe we should take our leave. Julian looks for a moment at the party and then looks and says, yes, I believe that you are correct. We should leave. And with that, they leave the room, leaving a dark-haired, rather handsome female dwarf. She stands with her hands kind of crossed in front of her waist, and she looks up and sees Eobard and smiles. You watch as he kind of rolls his eyes and turns his shoulder so that his back is to her. At that, her face falls a little bit.
Oh, that's
Well,
just
this is-
rude.
Well, this is touching.
She gave me up for coin, title, land, and position. I have the right to be rude.
And here you live in the castle in, relative safety and comfort. How terrible.
With an
You're right.
education, people to wait on you, never knowing
right.
the idea of what it is to be hungry.
Sure.
And particularly fancy boots.
Did your mother give you up and abandon you? I'm sorry. I apologize if I can't relate. Oh, it's such a nice place.
Made him work.
I grew up in a
Of course.
whorehouse, so
You were swimming in it, but it was your mother there. Did she give you up? No.
Madam,
What about you two, you bronze and brains?
Madam Redling, perhaps you can share your side of this entire situation. Please understand that we are trying to find out what is going on. We merely need your side of the story.
From the bed.
Sorry, what was that? Because my internet.
There's a soft cough from the bed.
Can I go over and check on
You
the
may.
king?
If you want to give me another medicine check, you sure can.
Do it.
Sure.
do it. Work your magic.
Oh boy.
19.
What you're seeing growing up where you did and how you did, you become familiar with certain plants and things like that. Specifically, being told, Arneth, don't eat this. It will make you very sick. Arneth, put that down. I told you, Arneth, fine, try one.
Eat one.
Now you're
See
vomiting.
if I
Now
care.
you're vomiting. Now you're vomiting. Did you learn a lesson? Learn a lesson? Okay. Don't eat those again. Arnath, I just told you not to eat those. Put those down.
Oh, that's so canon. Oh
But they
god.
smell good.
Yeah.
He
He's
has
so
been poisoned.
precious.
You're not sure what it is that's poison, but you can tell that it is a poison, and it is a slow acting poison. That it deteriorates the person who has been poisoned slowly. And that while he is laying there resting, you know that he is in no great comfort. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite is true.
I'll go back over to the group and relay that to them very quietly.
Opal Reitling turns and looks at you with a straight face. Says, "It's true. I've my regrets for giving up my son. I wish I could take it back. I've no other children. And with what I've done, he'll not talk to me anymore. And it breaks my heart." There's a derisive right. Eobard, you may not believe me, but I do miss you. He kind of turns and looks over at her, over his shoulder, and then turns his face back around again. Are you done with her?
No.
How long does detect magic last?
10 minutes.
Darn.
So it's
believe-
done.
It wasn't an hour.
You know what? I need to double check that. But I'm pretty certain it's 10 minutes.
Boop boop.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Or I guess you could click a button, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
You look like a savage.
Fine.
I do books work.
What was your reasoning to give him up, if I may ask?
He's not wrong. There was money, more than I'd ever seen in my poor life growing up. And we were not in a good place at the time. And I knew the king could offer him more than what we could. So I did what I thought was right by him. I tried to see him as often as I could. Unfortunately, that was apparently not enough. He hates me now. He probably has a right to. And I'd be angry if the only mother I ever had dumped me on the doorstep. Regardless of the conditions.
Has he always resented you?
No. She smiles, and you see kind of the, the water at the edge of her eye. Jump into my arms. He loved me so. He cried when I let him go. He didn't understand.
And how old was he?
Not but 7 summers old.
That's young.
It was.
Thank you.
She bows to you all. She curtsies deep to the prince and 2 princes and the princess. And she leaves.
So perhaps it is not succession you're after all.
Told you.
Perhaps instead it's revenge.
How would killing the king get me revenge? He'd be dead. Wouldn't have anybody to celebrate it with. Wouldn't it be make more sense to poison the one that has?
But if you think about it, the only person that really is responsible in this case, as is all cases of unwanted pregnancy or accidental pregnancy, is the man. No woman can accidentally get pregnant.
No, my father raised me, and he showed me the love that he.
Oh, I didn't say he didn't love you. That doesn't stop you from having resentment towards the fact that it is his fault your mother chose to give you a better life with him.
He looks over at the other two and he says, "Why am I the only one being questioned? I'm not the only one in here. My brother could have wanted to rise to ascension. You see, Balner, I would never. My father is the world. I love him. And there's Jadar. Queen Jadar. Has a great ring to it. No, they pick on me because I'm the bastard child of the king. Well, then, fine. I poisoned my dad because I was angry. Is that what you want to hear? Take me away.
I would if it was the truth.
Finally. Jadar stands and she goes, so he didn't poison him. Of course I didn't poison him. He loves all of us, despite his weird way of showing it. He's a good man. I have no qualms with him. So, no, poison him. I said it already. I don't want the damned throne. More trouble than it's worth. It doesn't warm the ass at all. I get tired sitting there. Trust me. I sat on it. Not good. Let Balner have it. I sure as hell don't want it.
Could you think of any reason why somebody would want to harm your father?
He just kind of says, my father is a good man. He's loved by most everyone. There are those who have problems with the king, but he keeps an open court. He turns no one away. He listens to their squabbles. He's a good man. Can't be said for all. In the past, there were those who were not good, but in the time that my father has reigned, Silverhaven has prospered. The doors and the city walls have opened to any who would come. None have been turned aside. The only reason that I could think anybody would want my father, and he kind of tucks his head down, bows it for a second, and you see him shift his eyes over to his brother and sister. Balnar looks at him and then looks at Jadar and then looks back and goes, are you saying that I would kill my father to take his place? I would never do such a thing. Jadar says, but wouldn't you? No. I am not the man that father is. I wish father would live forever. Perhaps one day I could be up to the man he is. But, oh. Jadar looks at him and says, I mean, I've got nothing to gain from it. If I poison father, then that means you ascend the throne. I simply, what? Live in your shadow yet again, the shadow of another man. I've got no reason to poison him either, so I don't know who poisoned him. Not to mention,
perhaps
offered the cup.
From what I'm seeing here, is there perhaps anyone you can think of who would want to create a rift between the three of you? Because that seems to be what's happening.
Balner, in his slow, dim-witted way,
Cap, your audio cut out.
Balner furrows his brow in its slow kind of way and goes, I don't understand to what end.
I'm not sure why, but it seems to be having that effect at least. We don't want.
Because a house divided is easier to conquer.
Yes, precisely.
Saying that someone would overthrow father and take his place, then.
What family would be next in line if all of you were gone?
Balner looks confused, as though he's searching. Jadar stands and says, well, it would be the lead house of the... which is not Reitling. So Eobard would have no benefit. You watch as Eobard stands and kind of shrugs, and he goes, Quentin Boadicea. Harahan. That would be who benefits from it.
And who are they?
Balner laughs and says, Quentin Boadicea Harahan. She's the fierce one to be feared for sure. She was a warrior in her right, and he an apothecary of no small substance.
Did you say apothecary?
Aye, an apothecary.
Da-na-na-na. Hello, wake up, sheeple.
Are they here tonight?
Oh, of course.
And would they have, at any point, have had access to the king's supply of wine?
No.
Are
Unless,
you
of course, the king...
100% sure?
Well, I mean, not 100% sure, no, but...
Also, any contact with the chalice he was drinking from?
Jadar stands and says, no. The only three of us, the only ones that had access to it were those of us at the table with Father. That would be us three and Father himself. Arneth and Gillett, since you are kind of standing quietly watching, I'd like for the two of you to give me a perception check.
Okay.
Whenever Jadar says that she and her two brothers and the king were the only ones that touched the cup, you watch as Eobard levels his gaze at her and then drops it. It's almost just that quick. He kind of looks at her and then drops his head.
Na na na. Just some Professor Layton bullshit going on.
This feels like an awful episode of CSI.
CSI Silverhaven.
Yeah. Yennefer's like always cleaning bones for some reason.
So he glared at
Are you saying Yennefer would be the tech?
Yes.
That's an amazing look, Steve. Perfect.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic.
So he glared at who?
He looked at his sister. Eobard looked at his sister when she said that only the three of them had access to the cup.
Can I roll inside?
What are you trying to pick up? Let me ask you that question.
I kind of just want to see if I can tell if he
What
thinks
that look was
fine.
about, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me an insight check. See if you can kind of glean.
Suss it out. Oof. Arnething again.
While you are very perceptive, reading people still not your strong suit.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie.
He's a
but-
dwarf.
I think it would be in character for him to call it out and say, "What was that look about? Do you not believe your sister?"
No, I believe her. She's right. 3. And again, he kind of looks at her for a second. And she looks at him and kind of narrows her eyes.
Sibling rivalry going on. Can I insight that?
But yeah, you can insight that.
What is
Yeah,
happening?
it's not being hidden at this time. So it's clearly out there in the open that they're coming. She's narrowing her eyes at him and he's giving her a hard stare. Balner looks
Lost?
as lost as you guys.
We're just like, what?
Yay.
Poor Balner. Just
He's doing great. He's trying
Um,
his best. He loves his dad.
it's not like it's not a conversation between the two of them, but it's like he knows something that she's saying is not either. It's not that it's not true,
It's not
but
completely
like
true.
she's not telling the entirety of something, or she's guarding some piece of information, and her look at him is kind of trying to discern what he knows.
So what you're saying is we have to cross-examine the witness. um. All right. All right.
Also, give it a go!
All right. Just looks in my spell list.
Well,
I don't have-
bleed really loudly on them.
They bleed really loudly. I can command her, but then that might make me
That's a
really
little
unpopular.
rude.
Yeah, it's a little. It's a little rude.
Wow.
What the fuck do I care about fucking reputation?
They would not appreciate your machination.
Is she still sitting?
She stood up earlier and she's kind of standing there. Her hands are, in front of her. She's kind of got them gripped like this.
I'm gonna go over to her and sort of kneel and like take her hand and just look at her. And I'm gonna say,
Oh no.
now
As you
Now
kneel,
is-
you realize you're only slightly blind.
now is the time to tell the truth.
Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Your father is dying, and I'm here to save him.
Arneth just turning like his big brown
Just like-
eyes at her, just like
Come on,
batting
do the
those
right
long
thing.
lashes
Puts
at
on the
him.
voice that I've
Oh,
got
green.
now.
I apologize. Green.
eyes.
Green. Even
Oh,
better.
you note they are green like
They
a
look
leaf
like-
on a tree.
You know what? Even better. They look like emeralds and, well, dwarves and mining. You know how that goes.
Arneth gets down on a knee, taking her hand, and looks up at her and says, "Now listen, baby."
And Ian Pierce in the back, like, oh, she's in trouble now. Good luck, Ian.
Everybody in the room has to resist. They all start confessing truth.
We all have to like roll wisdom saves or something.
She there's a
Arneth's
slight
secret power.
Mhm.
Arneth's secret power is super deep. He channels Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
He just channels him. Come on, baby, speak the truth. All right.
Cast Barry White.
Cast Barry White.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, you guys. You're so funny.
She looks at you and her face flushes a bit. She drops her other hand kind of shakily on top of yours. I'm telling the truth. I prepared the drink. Balner served father. And the only other person on the stage was Eobard. That's the truth. Yes. And she pulls her hand back, looking at you a bit like, not ashamed, but kind of shaky.
Can I
You
insight
know,
check
like-
that?
She's
Nice.
shook.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's telling the truth that the only people that had access to it were she prepared the drink and she gave it to Balner. She gave the cup to Balner, who served their father.
Where did you get the cup from, Jadar?
It's a family heirloom. It's been here in the castle. It's kept here in Father's room. And she walks over to a cabinet that when you open it, you can see that there are ceremonial pieces in there. Like there's a blade that hung, up. It's a blunted edge, but you can see that ceremonial purposes. There's a shelf and that has like other things. Like I said, all of it's ceremonial. Definitely, they would keep things like that. That chalice is the chalice of the first king. It's the first king of Silverhaven's cup. Passed it on. We drink our toasts every year for the king. The only people that would have access to that would be, well, of course, any of the servants that would, bring out the items. Father himself, and us there at the table. That's the only ones.
Has your father been ill previous to this?
Balner balks. Ha! No. Father is as strong as a mountain built in.
That does not mean he doesn't get sick.
Oh, you in trouble now.
He looks like that's a minor revelation to him.
Oh, that's true. He did have a cold last year.
Has he recently been sick?
Eobard says, no. He wasn't sick at all. You watch as Eobard sits down and he's tugging the boots on one at a time.
Okay.
The floor is cold. Sorry.
No. That's not a problem.
Carry
please.
on.
No need to apologize for
But
wearing
Eobard,
clothes.
I know you did not do this. Or I am vastly certain you didn't do this. You have to leave a little margin that you are lying and that you are a better liar than I am, somebody who knows people, but
He smiles at you. Fair.
But the look you gave your sister. Care to explain? And don't cover for her.
No, I'd not care to explain.
Is there a balcony?
You and your balconies.
Yep.
There's a balcony? Good. Good. Can we do this Wolf on Wall Street style? Where we hang him
No?
off the balcony
doing?
upside down?
Hanged.
No.
Are you sure that
We're holding onto him by his legs, but we're threatening to drop him off the balcony.
Yeah.
I feel this. We can't do this. I'm an idiot, but like not that much of an idiot. Like,
I'm an idiot, but even I recognize that this plan has a few things left to be desired.
there's a few holes in this plan. Okay.
There's two specifically that you would have to overcome. One's name is Balner, and the other one's name is Jadar. And I don't believe that they would allow you to dangle their brother over a balcony.
Okay, in that case then, I'm going to cast suggestion and insist that he tell us what is going on.
Is that a save?
That is oh, okay.
Wisdom save.
Ooh. Save your wisdom. Oh my god, girl. You're gonna like
What?
put your head through your fucking loft bed.
No, I won't. I know what I've like how much space I've got. But like I need to pull my legs up because it is cold and I have a blanket on my lap, and my feet are cold.
That's
What's the
valid.
DC?
DC is 16.
Okay. What would you like? How would you like to?
No, I'm sorry, Eobard, but I must insist that you tell us about the look that you just shared with your sister and what you know.
He looks up at you. He narrows his eyes and shakes his head. I watched her prepare the goblet. I watched her pour the wine. And I'm fairly certain that I watched her pour something. She jumps up and stalks over to him quickly, grabbing him by the front.
Callista's gonna get between them.
Yeah, she's got to stop doing that. She's going to get hit one of these days.
Give me a strength check, please.
Oh, goody! That's something I've got.
How do you know?
This is the number you crit. This would be the crit you roll.
Strength check, or can I give it athletics?
Everybody
Because I'm
stop!
actually skilled in athletics.
It's going to be strength or athletics if you have athletics. But it's your strength.
Damn it!
You go to get in between, and you could use Tides of Chaos.
Yeah, I'm going to. That's better.
Okay. That actually beats hers then.
Oh my god.
She goes to shove you down, and as she does, you kind of drop your weight and lock your knees, which, she's still shorter than you. But she reaches past you feebly, trying to grab at Eobard. Liar! You're a liar and a cheat and a con! You wanted Father dead for yourself! And he's backing up, like he bumps into the pillar and is like trying to get away. I'm sorry. I had to. You saw her. She cast a spell. Couldn't resist it. She backs up and looks at you. Snake now emits. She raises her hand with the ring, one that had evocation on it.
Uh-oh.
I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Can I cast Dispel Magic?
Not Dispel Magic. If you had Counterspell, you could cast that.
Son of a fucking... Okay. I cast Minor Illusion and throw sparkles! I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
Everything
So it's
has
a
a clown
pretty
print.
big room. We're talking like a good 60 feet across. She wasn't on one side. She was like kind of towards the middle-ish side. Where the pillars sit are about 25 feet from each other. And she came from like one pillar across the room to where the other one was. Now she backs up. What I'm asking is, with you near the pillar, because you like stepped in, he's behind you about 10 feet, bumped into the... She's on the other side of you about 5 feet, because she kind of backed up when you did that. Where is everyone else? Arneth, you were over on the side of the room where she started. That's where you last were. Here and Gillet, where are you at?
So where is this pillar in relation to like the door and then the king?
So they're at the first set of pillars, which 60 feet across. Pillars are at about 25 feet from each other, and about 25. They're about, actually, they're closer to being about 30 feet. And then there's like another 15 feet on either side.
Okay.
The first set of pillars is 20.
Okay.
My shoulders just both popped at the same time.
Oof.
So you guys are at that first set of pillars by the door.
Okay.
I need to know where you are and where Gillet is.
I'm kind of closer to the door, I guess. So I'll be
So
like,
you're fine. Gillett, where were you at?
I'd be closer to Eobard.
Okay, so you would be right in the blast area. I need you to
Yeah.
give me a dexterity saving throw as well.
oof, guys, oof. Ay, ay, ay.
Okay. The evasion.
Evades the fuck out of that. Just does a
All right.
Assassin's Creed
The only
bullshit.
person who is going to get caught in this blast is Callista. But the good news is, while you did fail, you are tiefling.
Lucky you. Yay. Shit.
It's better than having racial trait matchstick.
Match.
True.
You're vulnerable to fire. What are you, a blight?
Oof.
I'm a plant person. I can't help it.
I'm a plant person. I. Hmm.
7, 8, 16, 19. Only 19 points of damage. Halved to 9. You take 9 points of damage. Steve, because you succeeded at the save, you take none. The rest of you, are you okay?
Yep.
She leaps back, and as she does, she holds her hand out, and a bead of energy flies and catches right where you're at, engulfs the area. Those of you who are on the outside of this 20, which would be everybody else, you watch as Gillett and Eobard both dive out of the way of the explosion, rolling and tumbling and standing up. Balner moves. He picks his sash up, latches it around his waist. As he does, he charges even faster, and you watch as his form gets even bigger. And he full on grabs his sister on her side and has her up in the bear hug.
Oh, honestly, I'm done with this drama. To be honest.
Cap, just
Kicking.
for effect, can we have the circlet come off?
Sure, absolutely. The circlet, there's a sound as the end of the dies down. There is simply the sound of ting, 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 ting. And this beautiful circlet that Callista had is now lying on the floor next to her. And her form as a tiefling is fully revealed.
Surprise, motherfucker! It's Satan.
You singed.
Carry on. Carry on. Could it be?
You singed my dress.
Eobard picks something up behind you and goes, "Well, you were casting disparagement and questions around. It looks like about you. You drop this," and he hands you the circlet.
Thank you. She's gonna fit it back on, like around her horns, and then she's back into the elf form.
Okay.
Balnir stops. He's still got his sister, but he's like, "She has horns."
Yeah, some of them do.
See, you don't have horns, do you?
Me? No.
Well, she's got no horns now. I'm confused.
Magic.
Jadar says, "Of course you're confused. You're an idiot."
You made one mistake, Jadar. If you're going to kill somebody, don't use something that is known as the woman's murder weapon.
I love how none of us questioned her, even though that's like very clear.
Oh, I knew. I was trying to get her to, like, in an attempt to maintain who she is, to jump and defend the bastard child when we went after the bastard child. And
Phoenix,
she did.
right?
She wound up slipping up.
Objection.
She wound up slipping up.
She's kicking her feet and twisting in his arms, and she tries to headbutt him. Oh.
She nat 20.
Oh no, that poor guy.
There's a crack, and he drops her, holding his nose.
Mm.
She takes the circlet that's holding her hair, and you watch as she pulls it, throws it down. Just a few feet away from her, and she starts to run towards it. You can see something swirl in
Okay.
its place.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to cast command.
Okay.
I'm gonna command her to stop.
What's the DC?
What the fuck is 14?
What the as you command her stop, you watch as she walks and stops in place.
Thank fuck.
Only one who has a weapon in here.
Do something!
You.
Can I
God.
just, like...
Lefty and righty.
I have spells. What? What do you mean I don't have a weapon?
I didn't say you weren't armed. I just said the only one that has a weapon is Gillet.
We could
It's
just try to hold
fisty
her
and
down.
righty.
Oh, okay. Fisty and righty.
Mr. and Fisher. Wait, no.
Wait.
Four names.
Phrasing.
Phrasing. All right. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Arnath, what are
somebody.
you going to do as well?
I would like to just go and knock her over and hold her down.
That was my plan.
Give her the old leg bar.
Stop her in the mouth. Just
Oh my god.
boom, boom.
All right. She tapped out.
Behind her back
Oh, I'm so
and
dead
just
now.
hold her down with my knee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead and roll. It's athletics, but she is currently not going to resist because she was told to stop. So you have advantage on your strength athletics check to grapple.
Okay.
Okay.
She's a wiggly worm.
Yeah, she is. As she twists and turns and slips out from underneath your knee, you're straddling just to the right of her as she pushes on you and tries to get away. Gellert, you can move in and make your attack now.
Oh, I absolutely am going to try and maybe aim for her knees to have her go down to the ground.
Okay.
Still just standard unarmed strike for that?
Yeah, an arm strike, and then it'd be just like trying to do what's the one where they have to make the strength save or get knocked prone?
I have just open hand knockdown.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it'd be
All right.
spend a key point, and they have to save against it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can make another unarmed strike since you do make 2 attacks. Okay, that one
Two
connects.
hands.
All right.
And she has to make a save. You go to sweep her legs, and she nimbly kind of.
Never mind.
The number was exactly the same. I want you, as you bend luck, playing and twisting fate, you realize the danger of doing such a thing. I need you to roll D100, please.
Uh-oh.
Boom, boom.
Dun, dun, dun.
I have a question.
What answer?
What is the significance of 1D 100? Like, what does it do?
There's a table. It goes 1 through 100.
Mm-hmm.
And so rolling 1D100 lets me see on the table what number you got, or what number she got.
Because it's
chaos.
Because it's a class thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a class thing based off of her being a sorcerer. Because she's a wild magic. Every time she tempts fate and twists the magic and twists fate to work for her, there's a chance that she can have a side effect.
Everything can go terribly wrong.
Everything can go, as the kids
which
say
is
these
why-
days.
Which is why
tits
my
up.
magic surge is
Tits
set up to roll a d20, because if I roll a d20 and get a 1, the surge happens, unless Cat decides otherwise. And then the second number, which is the d100, shows you what the effect is going to be.
Okay. There were 2 rolls made. I rolled, and you rolled because I like to have fun that way.
I'll take yours.
Okay. Well, I will tell you what you got, what you would have had you chosen yours. You regain 2d10 hit points.
That would have been nice.
Instead, you glow with bright light in a 30-foot radius for the next 1 minute. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of you is blinded until the end of its next turn.
Okay, so
Jack,
real
I have
bright.
blinding radiance on.
Oh,
Everybody
God.
suddenly sees as Callista twists the skein of fate to her own will, making Gillett strike, sweep the legs of the dwarf who is just jumping up. She falls prone to the ground, and all of a sudden, you watch as Callista's form, looking at her hands in terror, glows brightly like sunlight right in the room next to you.
Oh, my lord.
A 30-foot radius. That is.
What are you gonna do next?
centered
Sprout
on you.
wings?
No wings, just Callista.
Can I dispel this?
No.
Shit.
Cannot dispel these effects.
Can
unfortunately.
I use lesser restoration on myself
For
the blinded?
yes, but because the effect is ongoing, it will continue to blind you
Until it.
because it cures the
Exactly.
effect. But if the effect is still occurring, it can still blind you.
Okay. So I guess we're all fucking blind right now
Only
For-
those
for
who
a
are
minute.
within 5 feet of me.
for a minute. Okay. Oh, I'm not. I'm good.
Those who are directly within 5 feet of me are blinded.
Yes.
Which means, Gillett, I'm sorry.
So I'm just like, dang, you bright.
You're that close? Son
Talk
of a...
about a glow
she
up,
was
eh,
5
guys?
feet from me, and then fucking
Yeah.
fireballed my ass.
Yeah.
I guess that means I'm blinded too.
Blinded by the
Because you were
light.
right there on top of her as well.
Yeah.
Y'all
Oh,
are.
I mean,
Y'all
for
are-
what it's worth, doesn't that mean that she's also, Jadar is also?
He is also blind.
Mhm.
So, you know.
But you
It
know who
works
isn't
out.
blind? You know who isn't blind? Maddie.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. We did this last night playing the Realms of Ravnica, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. We were doing the adventure of Krenko's Way, and we had a wild mage there who kept twisting, using Tides of Chaos. And every time he used Tides of Chaos, I had fun with it. I made him roll. Not even if he cast a spell, I just made him roll. He summoned a unicorn.
That's awesome.
Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times.
What? That is awesome.
He had one that appeared at the front door of the room they were trying to get into. Then when they were boss, it appeared. He did it again, and it summoned one again. So what I did was I made that one disappear and reappear like 5 feet away. And it's screaming at them using telepathy like, what's going on?
It's very stressed.
Better
God.
stressed as the boat captain taking us to
that
Silver
that poor bald little old wrinkled Kamat,
Oh.
just like, why am I out here? Why are there?
We're so sorry.
Where is the sand?
You know,
All right,
Can't tell you.
she's prone.
I will be right back. Nobody die or else I'll kill you.
She is prone.
Please don't leave. You're the only one not blinded.
Molyneux walks over.
Yeah.
His face, head down. You see he's got like something in his, like a sheet or, and it's one of the strings that holds back the. He's undone it, and you watch as he bends down and like binds her hand, and takes her ring off of her finger. He starts taking like jewelry and stuff off of her hands, throwing it. He's not even putting it down nicely. He's just like chucking it. The circlet spins for a few more seconds. A minute passes. The light fades. The circlet returns to being about that big around. this cord that you can put in your hair. And she
Can I pick up the circlet?
yeah, you may. She is now laid there. She is quietly fuming. Eobard walks over. He bends down and he kind of smiles, tousles. I just wanted to let you know that I wasn't affected by her spell. I just didn't want to see you do what you did to Father. Stands up and walks over and smiles at you and kind of does that right there. And you watch as he walks over to the side of the bed. And he puts his hands on his father. Balner stands her up. He's got her up on his arms and he says, "What did you use to poison him? Do you have the antidote?" You watch as she just keeps her head down. She doesn't say anything.
Well, I'll get up and go over to Jadar. Kind of lean over her a little and say, please tell us what you use. And I won't. I don't know. What should I break?
Start with her fingers.
Much like the DM, her eyes go wide.
You hear, like, Callista's, like, backed off so everybody can see, because she realizes, like, if she's too close to people, they can't see. Start with her fingers!
Yeah. Those are always fun.
Bend things that aren't supposed to be bent!
I can do that.
All right, give me an intimidation check. And as she is bound and you have a finger in your hand, advantage.
Okay. Intimidation. Never used this before.
No. I don't know I don't have the antidote. I just bought the poison. I can tell you where I got it from.
Good.
You don't even know the name of the poison?
The command that I purchased it from told me that it would do the trick. It would put them to sleep and kill them slowly.
All right, tell us.
Tell you what.
The name of the command. Where you got it from.
I didn't. I don't know his name. He was down by the
fingers
south
aren't
wall.
making this easy.
No, he was down by the south wall on the wharf. I swear. One of the boatmen. He seemed to be traveling up and down the river. I don't know if he's even still there. I went in disguise and I purchased it.
For your sake, he better be.
Are you going to kill me?
No.
Gillet, we might want to summon that apothecary.
Just thinking that.
All right.
While Arneth continues to threaten to break her fingers.
Julian and Magister are outside the door. As there was an explosion and then lots of noise and radiant beams of energy coming from the door. The door is currently standing open. There are two cat faces looking in the door like, ooh.
I like it.
We need the apothecary. The one
He
who
nudges Julian. Julian's like, I'm on it. And you see him. He leaves, his face disappearing from the door. You hear the sound of padding feet running away.
I just picture it like the Scooby Doo thing where they're just one on top
Yeah.
of the other.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Ever try to do that? It does not work.
She sits down on her bottom. She's just kind of got her head down. Balner says, I don't understand. Father loved you. You were his darling girl. Why would you kill him? You dim-witted man. Of course. Wanted him dead. And don't make a mistake. You'd have been next. And then I would have been Eobard, that bastard son of a worthless whore, would be out on his arse. I would rule as queen over all of this realm. But no. Instead, we're going to have dim-witted dullard as a king and a bastard as his council. Will be thrown into turmoil. Neither one of you have the wits to lead this country. Silverhaven is dwarves.
Yes, it's a shame you didn't decide to help and instead decided to poison.
Indeed.
You clearly don't have the wits for it either because you fucking got caught.
Well,
Why would you poison somebody at an important festival where all eyes are going to turn to you?
do you think they knew he was poisoned? He fell ill. That's all they knew.
Yeah,
Your
about
father
that.
fell ill, who hasn't been sick for how many years?
Have you seen Father's Council, Magister Hookeneth, Julian Ulmer? They're not bright. They're catfolk.
And you're a racist.
I was like, that's a little racist.
I'm a dwarf.
That doesn't give you a right to be a racist.
No, but it does give me a right to Silverhaven that they've no claim to.
They don't want to rule Silverhaven. They were helping your father enforce law.
Balner shakes his head. You're right. I'm not the smartest. But at least I have the foresight to realize what bolsters people. I am even keeled. Eobard is quick. And you're as deadly as that poison. Long before Father was poisoned, I believe there was another poison on this place. Sister, I commit you to Duroc Island for the rest of your life. May it be long and full of...
You done did it now.
She sits quietly, not... Julian and Magister return, carrying with them a wizened old dwarf with white hair that's tufted out on either side. His long beard is dyed with a pale green and scented. He smells of mint, slight hints of juniper. He walks over with a large satchel. He starts pouring over the king, looking him up and down. Did you say it was poison then?
Yes, slow acting would put them to sleep and then kill them.
What signs have you seen from him so far?
Weak coughing.
He leans down. You can see he's like checking the king, checking his pulse, feeling over him. Yep. I need to know what it is. Do you have the vial, girl? She doesn't say anything. He walks over and without a plum, hauls back, and slaps her across the face. At first, you ball her like, and then he kind of backs down for a second. She spits just a little bit of blood from where her mouth is cracked, and she goes, "No, I crushed it. You're a damn fool.
Do we still have his goblet?
You're a smart one. We do."
There may still
Julian!
be traces.
Julian! You see the command. Yes. Get the cup. I'm not the king. Go get the cup, you furball. Now? All right. And Julian leaves, running down the hallway. All right. Who has medicine? Anybody?
Arneth, Chief.
Who has Who has nature or survival? Nature or survival?
Survival.
Both of you?
Yep.
I have survival too.
All three of you?
Mm.
Well, I'm just useless.
Awesome. Give me survival checks. All of you give me survival checks.
Normal.
Yikes.
Awesome.
Just combine mine and Jack's number. It'll be fine. It'll equal up to what Arnett just rolled.
Here, sweetheart. I gotta go get a kitty. Hold on.
All right.
Installing cat.exe.
Real quick. Don't forget to go buy and
Minor.
copy the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica.
Sweet.
Yes, it is awesome. There are all kinds of fun things like precincts themselves, which is just a giant city. I got that book and I got this awesome. It's city maps and other things. Check it out. They are laminate maps.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
And
cool.
even better is like there are floor plans and like maps like this.
Oh,
On the
nice.
back of them, they have adventures. You roll
Ooh.
12 and the adventure goal there, then you create the adventure around.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow, kind of this neat idea.
That's pretty
For
cool.
those of you who are not familiar with Ravnica, Magic the Gathering, it's a crossover. Ravnica is run by these 10 guilds, each with their own goals in mind. And not all are nice. They are at a like tentative or like a tenuous truce thanks to the Living Guild Pack, a planeswalker named Jace, who is an absentee father. Instead, the office of the Guild Pact kind of keep the peace between the guilds. There's a lot of really good stuff in the book, so I encourage you. And I'm not being sponsored for this, so Wizards, you're welcome.
You're
Free
welcome.
advertising. But if you get a chance, go pick it up or go thumb through it. It's fantastic. They added a couple of domains. They added the order domain is actually listed that, and I bring that up to Maddie because she played a cleric ranger mix from the order domain, and they also added in another subclass, the Circle of Sport, because one of the guilds, the Golgari, are all about turning your trash into a new body with spores, and everything is going to be remade in their likeness that they would like. That's all the fun stuff. But that's, again, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Go pick it up at your local gaming store, bookstore. It's awesome. You get to play a Loxodon, a giant elephant person, like 7 to 8 feet tall. Really cool.
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Ow,
Or
ow.
as Chief already heard, a centaur. Immediately perks up. All right. Julian Ulmer comes back in with the goblet in his hand. There is just a little bit of liquid in there. You watch as the apothecary, Quint is his name, takes the liquid and starts to pour it on different parchment, just a little. He then starts looking at one crumbles it up. Looks at another one, sniffs it, crumbles it up, looks at the third one. Ha ha ha. He takes another sniff and pulls his nose back. Takes his pouch out and just upends it on one. Dumps out all the contents of the pouch and starts bringing things together. He works quickly, and eventually you see him bring out one of the things that kind of tumbled out was a mortar pestle, and you see him putting something down. He looks up and he's like, "Water!" And Balner, who is now like action, moves over water, which he pours. It takes him probably 30 minutes or so, but he comes up with this thinnish, like it looks like paste or I tell you what, it looks like Odwalla, the green goddess. It's like wheatgrass. It's kind of thickish, like boathouse, like the shakes that you have. He pours it. He walks over to the king, and props him up. Eobard helps him, and you watch as he takes his mouth and like holds it open, pours this liquid in there, tips his head up,
whispers gently, and don't choke.
Yeah.
Open your throat.
Don't choke. Callista's gonna go over and kind of assist in massaging the throat to get him to reflexively swallow.
He kind of looks at you for a second, and then just nothing seems to happen, except that the shallow, ragged breath there seems to be a little less ragged, seems to be a little deeper. He says, "Well, it's going to take time. He's going to be sick for a little bit. He should recover, unless his constitution is beat to hell and back, and then he'll die. Long live the king." And you watch as he starts scooping shit back into the bag.
All right.
Puts the satchel on, walks up and says, looks at the magister and looks at Julian. "I'll send you the bill." And then he starts to leave again. They both kind of look at each other. Their ears fall. A little, oh.
Now, what's the survival roll for?
Kind of like survival is to help you basically kind of survive. And one of the things that it was to help him kind of identify plants. Like he was asking you questions, certain questions, and your knowledge was helping him. Kind of like the answers you gave him were helping him. I didn't RP out every single question that he asked you. That's the reason to give a survival roll, because I didn't feel like trying to come up with a laundry list of questions. Has he like, foamed at the mouth? Has he discharged anything? Has he, so it was the roll. Balner, Julian, and Magister summon the guards. Jadar is taken away. Eobard accompanies them. Balner stays at his father's side, standing at the bed, his hands clasped behind his back, standing with his feet apart. His face is worried. He seems like he's in a lot better disposition. He stares at his father's. "I worry for the day my father was bred."
Cap, you're cutting in and out a lot.
I apologize. Let me try to lean a little closer. "I worry the day my father no longer draws breath. I fear what happens to our country, our people, when he's no longer here. I fear that even with time, I'll never be. I'm lucky, though. I have Eobard to help me. Despite his look and his gruff personality, he's a good heart.
Your Majesty, what you need to do now is you need to start collecting those you know you can trust. Your half-brother was a good place to start. Your
That's good
Magister
advice.
and Julian, while your sister believes they are slow and not the brightest, they are honest men.
Now, I know the truth. I know the lie she speaks. Well, I'll do what's right. Put some good people in place to make sure that even my falling are bolstered by the strength and smarts and brains and kindness of others around me. I owe you a debt of gratitude, you and your for helping me. As far as the people will know, Father got ill. Jadar is now an emissary to a Eobard will step up and become my counsel until such a time as Father is ready to once again sit upon the throne. I will be his regent. I don't know how I can repay you. I would promise you all the money and silver you've done. I know that that's a falsehood that I couldn't live to.
We couldn't carry it at all anyway.
You need a lot of dwarves to carry that, do you? I tell you what, though. Feel free to take my sister's trinkets. She'll have no need of them.
Not where she's going.
And I'll give you 100 marks for your time.
Okay.
Feel that's fair or not fair? I apologize.
It is more than
Make
fair.
it 15.
No. It's great. Thank you.
150.
150 marks sounds fantastic. Plus your sister's trinkets.
All right. We'll make it so. Get with Julian. Make sure that you've got all you need for wherever your life may next.
I need a new damn dress.
We'll get you plenty.
I believe that we can cover that from the coffers.
Well, thank you.
He just kind of nods and he says, if you be rude to be alone with my father.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
And with that, he just kind of turns back and looks at it. As you exit, Julian is standing outside, and he kind of nods at you knowingly. He says, I understand that you are to be paid 100. You are also to receive a dress, if I'm not mistaken, and the items that the Princess Jadar had on her at the time.
Yes, we already have the circlets, so her 2 rings.
Yes, and he hands you the 2 items, the 2 rings. He also hands you a writ with an official stamp on it.
Yeah.
And it's the writ is worth the agreed upon 150 marks.
And you know how much toast we can buy with that?
So much
All
garlic
toast.
toast or cinnamon toast.
Cinnamon toast. Garlic toast?
Cinnamon toast.
Garlic
Garlic
toast. I think
toast.
garlic
Garlic
toast is
toast
good
works.
too.
Now I want garlic toast, you bastard.
All right. You make your way back to the party, make the main dining hall.
Callista wants to see if she can find Eobard.
Give me an investigation check. You think you catch sight of him, but he slips down another hallway, and since you're kind of being escorted back to the main party hall, you are a bit reticent to chase after him.
Also the boots.
Despite the earlier disruption, the rest of the evening still continues on, all hushed and more subdued than it was originally, where it was a bit raucous before. So there's no dwarves swinging from the chandelier.
Oh,
No
man.
Kamat dancing on the tables.
I could get in on that.
And the elves have excused themselves. Except for you.
Callista will then write an apology to Eobard, explaining that once she had started talking to him, she was vastly sure that it wasn't him, but she was just trying to get his sister to slip up, and the easiest way to do that was to attack what she would perceive as the weakest link.
Okay. Do you give that to Julian?
Yes.
Okay.
I kind of I since my dress is singed, it's made out of like silk or something, I'm just gonna like tear a strip off of my dress because it's already singed and burnt, and I'm gonna tie the letter closed.
Okay. He kind of gives you a kind of an arched brow look, and says, I'm sure he will appreciate whatever's written in. Enjoy the rest of the evening. The drink. A place to stay will be secured for you at the Greenbow Inn if you'd like to stay there, or if you would like to stay somewhere else, please let me know and we will make arrangements.
The Greenbow Inn is fine. Plus, I heard drink, so I'm getting back into my cups. Excuse me. And
yeah.
Callista's just gonna walk away from the party, go find a flagon of wine, and she's chugging it back. Like, this is not what she wanted to deal with.
I think she's earned this.
If there's music playing, I'm going to invite Inferior to dance.
We're gonna tear up that dance floor, hopefully.
They're at the King's Hall, the feasting. Like I said, the been kind of dampened by being sick. However, you eat, picking up most of your food, and you make your way back to in a very nice carriage. You're delivered now. Once you enter the Greenbow Inn,
you cut out again.
Yeah.
Even though the hour is late, you arrive back at the Greenbow Inn, and your favorite new band is playing on the stage. And while there was no music at the party, there is music now. Did that cut out, or did you catch all that?
Nope, we cut
That was fantastic.
We got it.
I caught it.
I'm happy.
All right. Daisy gives Gillet a wink. Daisy is the dwarf. He asks you where your tall knighted friend is.
He's
Out
running
on
an
family
errand.
business.
Well, I hope he makes his way back here sometime. And she
Indeed.
kind of saunters off, hip swaying as she goes. Telly and her father are in full swing, keeping everything, the food and the drink. And eventually the night starts to wind down there. And you're not sure what time it is, but it is awfully late. You all find yourselves making to sleep for the night.
Yeah.
You sleep, all of you sleep peacefully, with the exception of Arnath.
Uh-oh.
It's not an unsettling dream, but as you sleep, you find yourself standing looking over on a cliff edge, looking over a beautiful vale. Green, fertile land, trees dotted here and there. It is truly a sight to see. The sun is behind you, so it shines on the dew of the morning, making it sparkle like it's made of crystal. A familiar voice, one that you realize you haven't heard now that you think about it in weeks, says, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" You look over to see Lucky standing beside you. His face is a bit drawn. He looks tired, but it's nevertheless him. He says, "It'd be a shame if something happened to Oliver, and it's just gone. I'll hold everything I can at bay. But this is stronger than that gym ever was. I miss you guys." As you turn to speak to him, because I know you, and I know you will. His image, you're alone, looking over this green veil with trees. The dew on the trees and the grass glitters. And you kind of smile to yourself, a little forlorn. And you find yourself sleeping. The next morning, everybody gets up. How are you feeling, Callista?
On a scale of 1 to
I'm
wreck.
gonna tell you as soon as I finish receiving. Yeah, okay. So she was drunk enough to need help up to her room, and she would have been next to Gillet, and she wouldn't have let him go when they got to her door.
Cute.
So it's one of those. He gets her to the bed, she won't let him go, and he's stuck. So it's either he stays there for the night or drags her to his, like, there was no letting go. So she wakes up
koalaing.
with a
I
pounding
get it.
headache wrapped up around the half-orc, not remembering what the hell was going on last night.
I feel like I wrote something similar to this recently. I don't know. What was that about? What was that?
You are fear. It is head pounding. In fear, Arneth. Do it.
I'm feeling great. I don't know about you.
Arneth is okay. It's a bit sad after the dream. A bit quiet.
Do you share what you dream?
At breakfast, yeah, he'd share it.
You, Arneth, through somber tones, relays the that he had about the beautiful veil and your missing friend. You all have breakfast. Callista drinks a lot of water and she can help wash down and a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit her. Or a lot of the hair of the dog that bit. I don't know.
She has at least one glass just to kind of take the edge off. But other than that, it's like water or juice. She stays away from anything that has dairy.
Choice. Smart.
Mm-hmm.
The morning passes uneventful. It's quiet. You guys don't really have a lot to do right now. I should say not the full morning, just breakfast passes.
Okay, I was gonna say, because Callista is gonna go to that same dressmaker and get a new dress.
As you are all preparing to set about for your day, there is a throat clearing. You turn to see a dwarf in the livery of the King's Hall.
Oh no.
He has a folded missive in his hand. There's a stamp on there. Written on it in actually beautiful handwriting. It says, "To Callista."
Okay. I am going to take it and give this man, a silver piece, I guess, for the
He
delivery.
kind of raises his eyes and thank you. And with that, he turns and leaves. As you open the parchment, written in beautiful handwriting is, "You self-righteous, absolute, beautiful person. I understand what you were doing. I didn't like it at the time, but it made sense. You've rousted out my sister and saved my father. Although that part really wasn't much of your hand so much as it was Quint's, but still, I appreciate all that you've done for the family. No hard feelings, and if you're ever looking free of that circlet and there's an ellipse, other trappings, feel free to look me up. I quite like the horns. My regards, Prince Eobard Grimfist."
She's gonna fold that up without sharing that with anybody and slip that into her pack.
What color
Her
is her
face
right now?
Her face is the same color as Gillet's background.
Somebody send you a love letter or something? What is that all
Nope,
about?
I have a dress to go get.
Okay, have
All right.
fun.
As you make your way to the dress shop and setting out, the world will bring you now, because gosh knows it seems to come at you quick. About every week, something new happens. We're going to go ahead and call it here for the night. Thank you all so much. We love you guys.
Woohoo!
Appreciate it. Again, go pick up the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Also, don't forget that the Waterdeep Dragon Heist and the Maze of the Mad Mage, I think it's called, there's a new book coming out all about Waterdeep. And I know that whenever I was first coming up in second edition, and I bought every box set that I could get my hands on, spending all of my paycheck with the exception of gas money back when gas was 95 cents a gallon. I bought everything that I could get my. I am that. Anyways, but the Realm of the Mad Mage, Waterdeep, that was like one of my favorite settings. Myth Draenor will always be my favorite setting because I love Myth, but still, that was another one that I absolutely loved. So go pick those up. And again, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica is coming out. I don't think it's out yet. I think it's coming out this week. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. I know I've got mine early. The one thing that I don't have here to show off is 10 that has all of the guild symbols on it, and it's got a new set of fresh dice that are like white or clear but cloudy inside of them. We're just looking. So again, I ran 6 games of just that adventure, with Friday night being the best. We had 13 people at my Friday night adventure night. I had 2 tables, one of 6 and one of 7. I gave the narrative to everyone. So, excuse me, I DM'd 2 tables at once. And I had somebody helping me facilitate combat, but otherwise it was everybody had a great time. So, hey, if you're in the Huntsville area and you're looking for something to do, why take them to a movie and a dinner, or dinner and a movie whenever you just have to sit there in the dark and watch something? You can do dinner and an adventure. You will truly learn the cut of a person's jib if they share the loot or tell you that they actually picked up the Iron Strong box that has 200 GP in it. So with that being said, come out to Lucky Dice Cafe, where Friday night adventure night, and we run different every night on Friday. I've run Pugmire, I've run D several times, I've run Pathfinder several times, I've run The Expanse, Star Wars. Just it's something new every time. But come out and play with us. We'd love to have you. I'm also here on Adventures League. But Dire Bear Adventuring Company will be back on Wednesday, Alone in the Void. Granted that nothing horrible happened to me and I get sick. They keep telling me that I push myself too far. Don't know. But anyways, I would love to thank Jack playing Yenfear, Steve who's Gillet, Chief playing Arneth, and my big, huge heart and thank you to Maddie who is not only playing our beautiful Callista, but also helping me with all of this other stuff. If you guys appreciate it, if you give them your love and affection, kudos, donations, you can find all of their information in our Discord, also on our site here at twitch.tv, and also go follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube. We're very close to hitting 100 followers there. So get out, hit a like, get a subscribe. We love you guys. And until Wednesday, take care of yourselves. Rest in peace, Stan. We'll miss you, buddy. Have a great night, guys.